Lubomila, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm incredibly happy to see you in unfortunately online setup. I'm sure sometime soon we're going to be able to see each other, but yeah, really happy to be here.
I can't wait for this moment to happen. How is everything in Berlin?
Berlin is unfortunately going through its third wave. The lockdown is becoming even more stricter. So Monty, with his vaccination stories, is actually making us even more jealous, because we also know that London is opening up. So yeah, not many exciting stories to be told from Berlin, except when it comes to work, which is what we spend most of our time on these days.
Same here. We're basically in the same situation here in Paris with this sort of third lockdown. What's crazy is that we're doing this today with you. You're like one of the definition of a Sesamer from my point of view, right? Like you've been, like I've met you with our program. I've seen you at events, winning startup competitions, like killing it on stage, and networking, meeting people, building network, building relationship. You're super good at it. Do you think that's part of the reason of the success of Planet Earth? I'm doing a bit of, conversation with you to make sure we get our speakers, live as soon as possible.
Sure, yeah, but I think you are the validation of this equally as much, because at the end of the day, in the tech world, everything is about network. It's about being able to connect with others, because this conversation is actually going to explain how it's possible even for corporates to work with startups. But if it's not for going after every single opportunity really systematically and considering like you've never pitched, like you've never won any competition, being equally as dedicated each time, then probably at some point it stops being as exciting and as successful. So yeah, I guess it helps.
I see Claire has joined us. Hi Claire, how are you?
Hi everyone. You hear me okay?
Yes. Good to have
Perfect.
you with us. I'm looking for Joanna, who I think was on the backstage, and now I don't see her. So I'm gonna actually, just continue a bit the conversation we were just discussing with Lubomila, how relevant it was in the tech world to build connections and network with events. I'm curious of your perspective from the corporate side. I mean, I'm not going to be asking you about events. That wouldn't be the main topic of your conversation. But just as an introduction, Claire, do you like, attending events offline in the old days and online nowadays? Just a quick question to get a sense of how much you like, events yourself.
I mean, definitely, I think, over my career, actually, quite a bit of my network have been built through events, through also, social media, connecting with some thought leader on Twitter, building an ecosystem. And I'm sure Lubomila talked about it, but she's, leading the Green Alliance, which I'm sure she built quite a bit through the network. I think it's essential, and it's really opportunity also for everyone, because yesterday, having a network, building a network was sometimes reserved to an elite and to people that were able to travel, pay connections, or have the network. And today, the beauty of internet is it's actually open for everyone. Having an opinion, being able to express it, learning about it, and being part of conferences, events is actually quite critical to build your brand, and that's everything you can see in startup. So after it's also an equilibrium. We always have, I think we all have a day job, and you have to be reasonable in terms of the time we spend in events and outside. And I have to say now, I am even more delighted because it don't happen so often, actually.
Thank you, Claire.
Hi, Joanna.
That Joanna has joined us in the meantime. Hi, Joe. How is everything?
Can you hear me?
Yes, everything good.
Good. Thank you. I've been following everything from the beginning, and I clicked on come on stage and everything like went off. So I'm really sorry. I just had to make a little more suspense,
Sorry about that. I leave it to you. Thank you for joining us. Have a great conversation and see you in a little. Bye.
Thanks, Ben. Hello, Claire. Hello, Lou. How are you both? I guess I just missed the intros. I guess Ben introduced you. I was going to ask you to tell us what each of you do concretely. For those who do not know much about Plan A, I think it would be important also to tell us more in detail what you've been building over the past few years. So maybe we can start with this.
Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you so much. It's really a great honor to be here together with two power women mentors, and also I would say people that have been paving the way for other female founders like me. I can say a bit about Plan A, of course. So we are a software as a service platform that uses machine learning and science to enable businesses like Société Générale to monitor their carbon footprint and learn how to reduce it. We essentially use the power of science and the power of technology to optimize processes and embed this thinking about the environmental cost and the impact into the day-to-day of businesses. We're based in Berlin and we're opening an office in Paris actually as we speak.
Wow, that's amazing. That's really amazing. So it's ongoing now. You're at the moment you're opening the offices. That's great.
Yes, heavily hiring. So if anyone is looking for a job, please feel free to reach out.
That's really. I feel like quite emotional when you say this, because we got to meet some years ago when you were starting Plan A, and I guess the ambitions have always been as big as they are, and probably they're still growing to develop Plan A. I find it quite amazing to see that now you're working with companies such as Société Générale. I'm really interested in knowing actually, because I think that you're working with Société Générale, but you also have a very particular collaboration with Société Générale that I saw recently. You were celebrating, I think it was in January, that you won the female FinTech challenge for good, yes, with Société Générale. So I guess you're going to be, you've started collaborating. I would be really interested to know what the collaboration is, how this is being built, and how it's going, and what the next steps are.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, I think, first of all, I can't express my gratitude enough for this fantastic opportunity, because as it was also mentioned by Ben, the challenge actually amplifies two particular issues that we have at the moment. FinTech for good is definitely not the bigger chunk of FinTech, and female founders are not the bigger chunk of founders that are out there. And thanks to Claire's initiative and patronage for this initiative, these two issues were able to be married, and essentially we were given, and have been given since January, the chance to work with different teams in Société Générale to address different sustainability-related challenges. So I would stop here, because I think there's a lot that we still need to discuss in terms of maybe details of collaborating between corporates and startups, but it's really unique to see the formulation of this challenge, because I have not seen anything like this previously.
Yeah, and I think that in particular, the fact that you're working on, that you're a GreenTech startup, and I think that everyone knows and hears about the importance of climate change and how this concerns us all. I think more or less every one of us knows how to tackle these issues on an individual base, but it gets more complicated when it's on larger scales. And as we all know, there's no time to lose. We really have to move as fast as possible. So I imagine that a collaboration between corporates and startups, for me, in my view, seems to be important. But Claire, how does this work from inside a big company like Société Générale? Have you seen a progress in the mindsets in a big company like Société Générale in recent years, and how do you work with startups?
Sure. I think, I mean, I feel lucky first because not a lot of banks have an innovation director that report directly to the CEO, and that set the ambition of Société Générale when it comes to work with startups and embracing the past. And I think when we look at the last 7 years where we invested, in this journey and how we were able to go through COVID, quite not peacefully, because obviously it was a lot of work for everyone, but at least, being able to operate and run the business without breaks, it shows that it's been very consistent. And that include, working with startups, and we didn't stop, this work over COVID, because as you just mentioned, we work with Lubomila. We also operated the first worldwide blockchain-based transaction to settle a covered bond into a digital euro. There's been a lot of action actually last year, including more of our customers embracing digital, knowing that they were already quite satisfied. So we have today about 60% of our retail customer base, which is active in digital, with 98% digital transaction, and about in Russia 41% of digital sales online. So for us, working with startup, is really at the heart of what we do. We account more than 60 partnerships across the group. Already working, we, through SG Venture, which I manage, we have about 30 different investments, including 5 acquisitions. And some of them, Joanna, because we've done the acquisition of Trezor, Fiduceo about 5 years ago, and we accelerated last year with Shine Car, and we had done Lumo, which is actually, in crowdfunding, and GreenTech and energy, part of this strategy. Now, what we observed is we saw, even before COVID, through Société Générale raison d'être, the connection between innovation and responsibility, and the fact that innovation by itself will not be sufficient for business model to be resilient and attractive for clients and for shareholders, and that actually part of the solution was how do we co-build this world together with the startups. And we lay down this, which startup can we help? And we identified that actually the pipeline on GreenTech was very, very small, even if France is actually quite proactive in regulation. But Société Générale, operates in 62 countries and have about 138,000 people working for us across the world. And for us, we always need new ideas, new innovation. And it's exactly what Lubomila mentioned is at the end of the day, when we did the challenge, the pipeline was quite small. And on top of that, if you cross it with women, our shortlist, we wanted about 10 of them. We had about 8 of them that could fit our criteria. And part of this ambition was actually to create the pipeline. So here in this field, Joanna, we are not, we're very happy to have Plan A, and we can discuss more the collaboration. But actually before that, the problem is bigger. The reality is the pipeline is very, very small. And the first step is how do we build together the pipeline? How do we ignite vocation? And how do we make sure people understand the importance and the potential of financial technology and financial systems to solve for climate change, to solve for this challenge? And again, you're coming at a cross point where yes, less women-led business will embrace fintech. We know that, so it's very important to have a role model like Lubomila, which are fighting the cause. Today, Lubomila, she's been entered the spiral of Société Générale, meeting more than, we have more than 15 business line and 10 service line. So, but just after she won the challenge, Lubomila called me and said, okay, we need to refocus a bit. But maybe you want to talk a little bit about that, Lubomila.
Yeah, definitely. I remember the first month, it was like, honestly, like on a weekly basis, I was pitching to 3 to 5 entities from the different geographies, and then the different kind of streams of activities in Société. And it was, I think it's quite impressive, because by now we work with a multitude of corporates also. In particular, we have quite a few, like Vinci, for example, and one thing that was really impressive with Société, and this maybe is a reflection of why Claire is Chief Innovation Officer, is that innovation is embraced and speed is something that is a KPI of how quickly innovation gets to be implemented, which is not necessarily common across corporates. And there's different formats, such as the Catalyst program, for example, where an innovation can be tested and then allowed to go into a wider audience fairly quickly. So it has been an unusual relationship between corporates and Plan A, not because everyone else is slow. It's more that there just has been immediately, from the moment when Claire announced it and we were presented to the management of Société, after that, basically it was a snowfall, like there was a domino effect of a lot of requests and also a lot of interest, which means that the group understands the systemic issue that is climate change that can affect the whole industry, to then understand how this can, on the operational level, be implemented.
And I was hearing you speak, Lubomila, recently about the importance of the fintech industry in terms of having an impact on sustainability and sustainable fintech, and why is this so key? Could you? I'm really curious to know more about this.
The financial industry is at the core of every single activity and every single industry. So like you take it more as across the board topic rather than one that is by itself unique, which means that it is deeply embedded into all the ways we operate our businesses, execute our even freelance work, something that is not necessarily, let's say, part of a big corporate scheme. And this industry is also the one that has been the first to see the repercussions on a regulatory level from the climate change decisions that basically the EU has made, the UK has made, and now also other administrations are embracing as well. Financial technology, as the innovation arm of the finance industry, is essentially having the opportunity to optimize a lot of processes, and also has the opportunity to make them optimize for a more sustainable planet as well. It is not to say that this industry is less or more important than others. It is to say that it is universally applicable across the board, which means that we need to make sure that these innovations that we see are actually quite well, embraced by all these different bodies that are within, let's say, the banking sector, the fintech sector, and other financial institutions such as private equity, asset management, and VC, which are quite often the types of, I would say, clients we end up now these days working with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's really interesting, because it seems that other industries are more generally thought of when you think of sustainability, but it's I think also very key. I know that. So I don't know if Claire is going to come back with us, but I know that we've met several times at various different events across the world, across Europe. I know that there are a lot of European and international event organizers in the audience today and in our community, and I was going to ask you what events and event organizers can do to support and to help this whole dynamic, to help somebody like yourself, somebody at the head of Plan A, and maybe even your partners, companies like Société Générale. How can events be part of this?
I can see that Claire is actually in, but maybe the tech team can allow her to come back in. To respond to your question, events are actually crucial, and we've met at a lot of events because I believe both of us share a big love for these kinds of social gatherings where there's context, there's topic, there's dynamic kind of understanding of what everyone can bring, and I would say my network has been built through the fact that since day one of Plan A, I have been either actively organizing events or participating in them. Event organizers, or how kind of they can involve themselves, there's a multitude of things that they can do for sustainability. We, for example, have a module on our platform that is specifically dedicated to event organizers. But I think if we take it into the networking element, the events such as the one that was organized by Société Générale that allowed us to essentially be part of now this program together with them is really fundamental to this, because it's a very efficient way of essentially solutions being presented to a group of people that have an understanding of what kind of problem they want to solve. So yeah, this is, if event organizers are seeking ideas, they should definitely try to connect better corporates together with startups, because in today's reality, COVID, everything being of online, I was even planning for this event, for example, to be in Paris, because we also were planning to open the office in a more grand way. This obviously didn't happen. Today it's really difficult to do business only over Zoom, and yeah, I think we can benefit a lot from these events that help for that.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that. Claire, I don't know if you heard, we were discussing how events and events organizers have a role to play, and how they can be, support best what you guys are doing, and I don't know if you have any examples, or if you have any do's and don'ts on what event organizers could do to support, for example, what Société Générale is looking for at an event.
The type of partnership we had with 15 Tech, actually, which we could build to source a startup like Lubomila, is a perfect example of how you can coach a cohort, and actually doing it again for the female pipeline as part of Vivatech technology, and we will announce the new promotion in June, and it's very important to keep in touch. This is, when I was talking about why we launched this challenge with Marie-Christine Duchelet, the head of French retail. It was also because we felt our responsibility as senior executive in the industry is to encourage and promote role model like Lubomila. And I think, this can come only through making visible people like Lubomila and startups that really are embracing the field. And that's what we are doing continuously through event also. Of course, spotting talents, but also showcasing our talents, be a senior executive for organization.
Yeah, thanks. There's so many things in what you just said. I think that's very inspiring. I think we're going to have to wrap up, actually, but I get the impression, got started on a discussion that could have been continued for much longer. And I just wanted to say that I'm really happy that we could have this discussion, even if it's maybe the start of something that could have been longer, because I think that you are a very inspiring example, and I will be following what you're going to be up to. Maybe you could tell us how everyone here listening today can get the news of what's going to be coming up on your common project, and on Plan A and Société Générale, and the other projects you have with Société Générale. Maybe if you could tell us that, and I think then we'll have to transition to the next session.
Sure. And for me, it's very easy. We are on LinkedIn, so just follow me, and we have a regular podcast, Innovation Insider, where we say all. And for Plan A, obviously we have two now very advanced conversation in India and in Romania, which should be producing in the next couple of weeks, so it's very imminent, and it's just the beginning of the journey. So I have no doubt Lubomila will conquer them all.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Claire. I really appreciate the support that has been ongoing for months now. In terms of the channels where people also can find me, LinkedIn is also the best. I'm more than happy to connect there. And I also can confirm that there will be some announcements probably in the coming weeks, just to showcase that this was just not necessarily marketing campaign, but rather something that tangibly allows for technology to enable the banking sector to advance, and of course we to learn even better on how we can serve companies such as Société Générale. So yeah, really excited, and thank you, Joanna, for to organize this kind of an event, and also for hosting us.
Thank you. Excellent. Looking forward to the news. Speak soon.